Thinking Aloud. Conversations on the leading edge of knowledge and discovery with psychologist Jeffrey Mishlove.
So, it seems to me stupid, but I've always had to advise people, if you have these interests, two things have to happen. You have to have conventional interests too, so you can work in some aspect of psychology or physics or something, and it'll be satisfying and you'll make a living through it. But also, as you go through graduate school and even through much of your academic career, be very careful who you talk to. Because a lot of people who are designated as scientists, who are supposed to be open-minded and go just by evidence, are totally prejudiced in rejecting the very possibility of telepathy, prayer, anything parapsychological. And they will attack you for making you uncomfortable by mentioning these possibilities. This is so stupid to tell graduate students to be very careful what you talk to with your professors.
They will attack you for making them uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Well, when people come to me, I would give them the same advice, pretty much. It's good, solid advice. But at the same time, I feel obliged to tell people I didn't follow that advice myself. I was neither independently wealthy, nor did I really have and apply any kind of credentials or expertise in an area outside. I do have a master's degree in criminology, but I haven't really worked professionally in that area. So,
well, some people might think you're sort of a criminal for promoting parapsychology.
Some people indeed might, and one could say I'm a deviant.
Yes, definitely.
In that regard. But I think actually probably if you look at the population, everybody's a little bit deviant in one way or another. I haven't seen anybody who's perfectly normal in every respect.
Well, I was just like you. I didn't follow this good advice, okay, because I have a strong sense of right and wrong, and I have enormous respect for scientific method, and that requires you to be completely honest and open about the data, the stuff you can observe, and you're thinking about it. But luckily, I had a lot of more mainstream interests too. So when I got in graduate school, I focused my work on dream research, which was a hot new topic then when we discovered there were brainwave correlates of dreaming and the like. And I kept at least 2/3 of my research on things like dream research or hypnosis research, which were relatively respectable compared to parapsychology. But I didn't hide the parapsychology, and I suffered a great deal for it. I don't regret it because that's me. I'm honest about my interests.
And in spite of all the suffering, and I'm sure it was quite real for you, you still managed to obtain tenure, and you are now an emeritus professor.
That's right. But I wasted at least a year or two of my career if I start thinking of all the time I had to defend against attacks. It was strange. In my university, for instance, there were a lot of people who pointed to my research as an example of how the university upholds the principle of academic freedom. And if you're doing quality research, you can do it in anything. And there were a lot of other people who worked on getting me fired. Luckily, they didn't succeed. But so that's the advice I give people. Find some conventional area of science that you think probably would be relevant to parapsychology. Psychology is an obvious one. Physics probably something like that. And find one that's interesting enough to you that you'll enjoy working hard in, because you got to work hard to get through graduate school. But then keep the interest in parapsychological stuff kind of muted until you get tenure. And let's hope they still keep giving people tenure. I mean, administrators love to get rid of it, so it's easier to fire people, unfortunately.
Well, there are big changes going on in academia.
Yes. And I hope, incidentally, that the culture changes in a way that my cautionary words become totally obsolete and quaint as soon as possible.
Well,
but
I'm
humans
doing
don't change
these
easily.
interviews, Charlie, because I think the day is going to come when, and maybe 100 years from now, when mainstream colleges and universities around the world will have departments of parapsychology or something comparable, just as they have psychology and philosophy and criminology and other specializations now. And I think
hope so too.
These conversations will be useful for people when that day arrives.